Good evening, everyone. If you'd like to take your seats. Good evening, everyone. Although I've made you sit down now, I'm going to make you stand up again. We've got the chaplain. The Reverend Marg is here this evening. It's lovely to see her. And she's going to say a prayer.
I feel like I've got quite a lot of power now. So let's just bow our heads for a moment, shall we? God of justice and mercy, thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our districts. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. Give us a spirit of service. Remind us that we are stewards of your authority. Guide us to be leaders leading your people with their special needs. Help us see the humanity and dignity of those who disagree with us, and to treat all persons, no matter how weak or poor, with the reverence your creation deserves. And finally, generous God, renew us with your strength of your presence and the joy of helping to build a community worthy of the human person. We ask this as your sons and daughters, confident in your goodness and your love to us. Amen.
If you'd like to take your seats again. Thank you, Marg. Thank you for your prayer. Item 1. Do we have any priority business, Mr. Hayward?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. I can confirm there's no priority business this evening.
Thank you. Item 2, the minutes. The minutes of the meeting of the council held on the 20th of February 2024 are before you tonight at page 1 of your pack. Is it your wish that I confirm and sign the minutes of the council held on the 20th of February 2024? Item 3. Are there any apologies, Mr. Hayward?
Yes, we have apologies from councillors Barry Bond, Mike Davis, Christopher Evans, Martin Perry, Greg Spruce, Sam Harper-Wallace and councillor Mrs. Kath Williams.
Thank you. Item 4. Are there any declarations of interest? No declarations of interest this evening. Item 5. Questions under council procedure, rule 11.4. Can I pass to Mr. Hayward?
There are none, Madam Chairman.
Item 6. We now turn to page 5 of the leader's report. Can I call on the leader, Councillor Roger Lees, to present the report?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Good evening, members. As you can see, there's a new layout to the council agenda leaders report, lists the business conduct at the cabinet and their outcomes. If you have any questions, you can address them to the cabinet members concerned. I will start off with myself. So is there any questions to myself on the corporate side of things? No? If there's no questions, I will move on to welfare. Robert Reid. Any questions to Robert? Thirdly, we'll go on to commercial assets and David Williams. Is there any questions to David? No, everybody's been on the best behaviour tonight. Our next item is on waste and for Kath Berry. Anything, Kath Berry? No. Regulatory, Rita Heseltine. And finally, it isn't in the report, but there's planning and Victoria Wilson, if anybody wants to ask any questions on that. No. Madam Chairman, that's my report.
Thank you very much, Roger. Everyone's been very quiet and very polite tonight. I don't know whether I wait in expectation to see what happens. Item 7, we now turn to page 15. We have the report from the chairman of the committees, giving a brief update to council on what has taken place in their committee since the last council meeting. Rather than ask everyone to say something, if any chairman wishes to speak, please indicate now. Is there something special on the telly tonight that we all want to see, or are the Wolves playing or something? Obviously. Oh, England. Oh, that's it then. There are no questions. Thank you. Oops. No, then. Item 8. We now turn to page 19 and the pay policy report. Can I call on the leader of the council to present the report?
Thank you, Madam Chairman. At the end of the night, I'll be fed up for listening to me and you. Members, as you're aware, Council is required to approve a pay policy statement each financial year, and within the papers circulated is proposed pay policy for 24-25. All figures have been updated to reflect any changes arising from pay awards, pensions, contributions, and pay multiples. The other aspect of the report is the proposed adoption of a new talent attraction and retention policy and an update on market supplement policy. By way of background, members will be aware that nationally, the local government sector is experiencing significant workforce challenges. The most recent LGA workforce survey published in 23 confirmed 94% of local authorities responding to the survey were experiencing recruitment and retention difficulties. Within the background papers published on CMIS is a report and presentation previously considered by Cabinet and Standards and Resources Committee, setting out our employer of choice work. Whilst we're in a good place, the recruitment market is turbulent, and we need to stay on the front foot and have a range of options that will enable us to respond to the market appropriately and at pace to ensure we can remain competitive in the evolving labour market and future-proof our workforce. The new talent attraction and retention policy and update market supplement will ensure we can continue to attract and retain staff and continue our work with local schools to provide work experience and employment opportunities for students and graduates who live in our district. I commend these papers to Council and would propose that Council approve the pay policy statement for 24-25 at Appendix A, new talent attraction and retention policy at Appendix B, and upmarket supplement Appendix C. Thank you, Madam Chairman.
Do we have a seconder for this?
Thank you. Yes, I'd like to second that recommendation, please.
Are there any questions? Councillor, would you like to speak?
Thank you, Chair. And break it up a little bit, give you a rest. Obviously, the leaders just said that the figures in here include all the recent pay awards, etc. On the senior pay, section 14, there's a little note at the bottom that says the above includes the 1st of April 2023 National Pay Award. At the time of writing, the National Pay Award for 2024 has not been agreed. So does that include the 2024 pay agreement or not? If you could just clarify that one first.
Thank you for your question. I'll ask Mrs. Bridgewater, who's on the top table, to respond.
And the 2024 pay award hasn't been agreed nationally today. Thank you.
Would you like to come back on that?
Yeah, it's a separate point really. I just want to clarify that after obviously the introduction to that. My second point on the retention policy, and I've raised this before, glad to see that in there because I've often been critical about how it can be, I feel, in my short time in councils, that there's a merry-go-round of officers, and each time they move around, the pay goes up for everyone. And I think internally promoting and encouraging new people into local authority, local administration is a good approach. So it's good to see about T-levels, apprenticeships in there. Obviously, my day job, obviously interested in that. But some caveats to retention, and I'm sure Chief Executive has thought about it, is just making sure, I have seen in some cases where some retention policies actually incentivise certain positions to almost hold a organisation hostage for obviously the financial benefit of that role that they're in. So just making sure there's awareness around that, and that, you know, if someone does want to leave, the council's not in a hostage situation, and there's new people who can take up those roles. So there's more flexibility, and that, I'm just going to put that on record as a thought, really.
Thank you, Councillor Fisher. Good question. And the answer is we are fully aware, and it's something we're mindful of. And we've got a very much a flexible approach in terms of how we look to attract existing staff, but attract new individuals to come into the organisation. So as the report sets out, we've got a number of schemes in place to enhance and support our existing workforce, but also look to attract new individuals coming in when the opportunity arises. But as ever, it's a balance. It's always about a balance, and succession planning is absolutely critical as an organisation.
Does anyone? Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Chair. First of all, I'd say I absolutely support this initiative in terms of retention recruitment. It seems very sensible, very aligned to the problems of recruitment. It was just around the Golden Hello scheme, really. And the question was really that, okay, as I say, I support it as a concept. It just doesn't have any limit in there, as far as I could see, on what the potential Golden Hello could be, which just feels slightly worrying.
Thank you. I'll pick that question up if I may. There's a number of schemes operating, some do operate a limit, but what we're finding is the recruitment market is changing at pace. You can look at some of the average figures, they can vary between 5 and 15%. But what we don't want to do is go over or below the market. We want to make sure that we can respond to what is a fluid and changing labour market. What I would say, however, is that there are checks and balances within the policy, so that any payment would be set in accordance with robust labour market evidence at that time, but also it would be subject to senior oversight and scrutiny. So these payments, supported by business cases, would be subject to approval by a minimum of corporate leadership team, or in some cases, if it was a senior post, that would be the Personnel Development Review and Appointments Panel and or council, depending on the post.
Thank you.
I wouldn't say third time lucky, you're flashing. I mean that nicely. Councillor John Brindle.
Thank you, Madam Chair. It was the same question on page 15, that the payments are not subject to the, will not apply to the ALO payments. There was no percentage. There was nothing on there on page 15 to indicate what the payments would be. So it's like an open book, as the councillor was stating. But I take on board what's been said, but it's just not clear at all.
Sorry. Again, we deliberately didn't put a figure in there because we wanted to respond to the labour market evidence. What I would add to my earlier comment is that with any new policy, it's normal practice, we would review the policy after 12 months. If we did feel that any area did need looking at or fine tuning, again, we would pick that up under our normal arrangements.
Thank you. Are there any more questions, or does anyone wish to debate the item? No, everyone's happy? Thank you. Councillor Lees, do you wish to speak further?
No, I don't think so. All the questions have been answered adequately, or there'd be a follow-up question. So thank you.
Right, can we have a vote, please? All those in favour, can I have a show of hands? That's a unanimous, so there's no against and no abstentions. Thank you all. The motion is carried. Item 9. We now turn to page 55 and report proposing the new council plan. Can I ask Councillor Lees again to present the report? Thank you, the Councillor Lees.
Thank you again, Madam Chairman. In May 23, South Staffordshire residents elect a new council, which will serve them now through to 2027. This plan reflects the council's priorities and includes an ambitious delivery programme focused on addressing today's challenges, so we can all look forward to a thriving future. The draft Council Plan 24-28 sets out our ambitions for the next 4 years. The plan has been produced with assistance from a cross-party membership working group who have met to discuss the development of the new plan, and that was chaired by Martin Perry. Since the production of our last council plan, the council, our partners and our communities have experienced many challenges, including the pandemic, Brexit, asylum and refugee support schemes, and the cost of living crisis brought on by the global economic crisis from the war in Ukraine and the conflict in the Middle East. The legacy of these challenges has inevitably left their mark, with some, like the cost of living, still present within our communities. In response to these challenges, the Council has remained nimble and connected, responding to local priorities, and despite pressure and uncertainties, we continue to move forward and make strides with our ambitions. This plan sets out how the Council and its partners can do all that, and we can ensure the communities of South Staffordshire continue to thrive. The Council plan sets out our vision and 4 priorities, which we will deliver on and over the next 4 years. We will continue to move forward and progress with our ambitions to keep our communities vibrant. The Council vision as a place of vibrant communities will be delivered through 4 priorities: financial stability, economic growth, sustainable environment, and empowering our communities. I would propose that the Council approve the Council Plan 24-28.
Thank you. Do we have a seconder?
Yes, thank you, Madam Chairman. I'd like to second that.
Are there any questions? No? No? Can you all speak this evening? Seriously, does anyone wish to speak on this item? No? No? Councillor Lees, no more to be said. All those in favour, can I have a show of hands, please? Again, it's unanimous, so nothing else to go by. The motion is carried. We now turn to item 10, Chairman's announcements. Well, anyone who attended the civic dinner on Friday, thank you all so very much. I hope you're sober by now. But no, seriously, it was a really, really lovely event, and I felt very proud to represent South Staffs here at the district. Everyone seemed to enjoy it. The food was excellent. People partied with their money, which was a good idea. I'm sorry if any of you have had bad luck over the weekend. The old witch, if you didn't sort of cough up your money quick enough, honestly, I didn't put a spell on you, but nevertheless, it was a very, very successful. It's all right. All those who don't know, I wear a witch's hat when I'm doing things, because you know it's in keeping really, the old witch, for the bingo and the auction. So you know that's how I get money out of people. I'll put a spell on them if they don't. But no, seriously, everyone was very kind. We haven't yet added up all the money, but I'm sure at the next meeting I'll be able to tell you how much. But thank you for anyone who supported me with gifts, with money. anything that you all provided. I was very, very grateful. Thank you so much. Right, I'll just remind people that the special council meeting for the local plan is next week. So please be present if at all possible. It's so important that we get it completed, agreed and completed. That's the main thing at the moment. I think that's one of really all I've got to say now. My term of office is coming to an end. I can't believe how quickly the year has almost passed. I know for a certain fact that my deputy this year, Dan, will be excellent for you next year. He's full of good ideas and we will support him, I hope, 100%. But his heart and his thoughts and his work focus are all good. So I know he will represent you very well indeed. So we look forward to having Dan next year. Thank you all for supporting me. It's been a real privilege. Thank you all very much indeed. I now declare the meeting closed. I think that's all I've got to say. Thank you very much. Good night.
Thank you, Madam Chairman. Please stand whilst the Chairman and Vice Chairman leave the council chamber.